Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Well, today I wanted to chat with you about something I've been using every single day for the past 2 months. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. You know, when a new phone comes out, there's always that initial excitement, right? Like unwrapping a present on Christmas morning. But the real question is, how does it hold up in the long run? So after 2 solid months of using this as my main phone, I've got some thoughts I wanted to share with you. Let's dive in. All right, so let's start with the design. Now, Samsung went with a titanium frame this time around, and honestly, it feels really premium in the hand. It's got this matte finish, which I'm actually a big fan of. It just feels expensive, you know? I remember the first time I picked it up, it kind of reminded me of holding an older iPhone like the 5S with those flat edges. It just feels really secure. Now, some people might find those squared off edges a little less comfortable without a case. And I can see that actually there was this one time I was trying to juggle my coffee, my keys, and the phone, and it almost slipped. Luckily, I caught it. But yeah, if you're someone who doesn't like using a case, you might notice it a bit during longer use. But honestly, the added durability of the titanium, I think it's worth it. I haven't dropped it, knock on wood, but it definitely feels like it could handle a little bump. Moving on to the display, and this is where Samsung usually shines, right? This is a gorgeous 6.9-inch AMOLED display. It's a little bigger than the last one thanks to some slimmer bezels. Seriously, it feels like you're just holding a screen. And the colors, so vibrant. Maybe a little too vibrant for some, I guess, but I personally love it. And the brightness, wow. You know, I was out the other day trying to take a picture in direct sunlight, and I could actually see what was on the screen. That anti-reflective coating they've got going on is seriously impressive. It makes a huge difference. Oh, and the 20 hertz refresh rate, everything is just so smooth. Scrolling through social media, playing games, it just feels really fluid. Now let's talk about what's under the hood. This thing is packing the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, and let me tell you, it's fast. Like, seriously fast. I haven't experienced any lag or slowdowns, even when I'm multitasking like crazy, you know, bouncing between emails, social media, and watching videos. It just handles everything like a champ. In gaming? Yeah, it's a beast. I've been playing some pretty demanding games, and it just eats them up. Now, I did notice maybe a little bit of warmth after a really long gaming session, but nothing that felt uncomfortable. They've got a bigger cooling system in here, which seems to be doing its job. Software-wise, we've got One UI 7 on top of Android 15. And honestly, I'm really liking it. It feels polished and pretty intuitive. The gesture navigation is super smooth, maybe even smoother than on my old phone, dare I say it. There are tons of customization options, which is always a plus. They've also added some cool AI features like live call translation, which I haven't had a chance to use extensively yet, but it sounds pretty neat. Now, no phone is perfect, right? One thing I've noticed is, like with most Samsung phones, there's still a bit of pre-installed stuff, you know, bloatware. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. Also, I have noticed a couple of minor software hiccups here and there, like an animation stuttering for a second. But overall, the software experience has been really solid, and the fact that Samsung is promising 7 years of software updates, that's huge. Seriously, that's a big deal if you're planning on keeping this phone for a while. Let's talk battery. This has a 5,000 mAh battery, and for the most part, it gets me through a full day of pretty heavy use. You know, lots of browse, social media, taking photos, the usual stuff. There were a couple of days where I was really pushing it and I had to top it up in the evening, but generally it's been pretty reliable. It supports 45-watt wired charging, which is decent. It'll get you from 0 to over 70% in about half an hour. It's not the fastest out there. I know some other phones charge way quicker, but it's definitely not slow. It also has wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is handy for topping up your earbuds or smartwatch. All right, and now for the star of the show for many people, the camera. This thing is a beast. We've got a 200 megapixel main sensor, and the detail you can capture is just incredible, especially in good lighting. And even in low light, the pictures come out really bright and clear. The zoom capabilities on this phone are insane. It's got a 3x and a 5x optical zoom, and honestly, the 5x zoom is so useful. I was at a concert the other week, way back in the nosebleeds, and I was still able to get some pretty decent shots of the stage. You know, the digital zoom goes all the way up to 100x, which is kind of a fun party trick, but let's be real, the quality at that level isn't amazing. But those optical zooms, seriously impressive. And the ultra-wide camera has been upgraded to 50 megapixels, which is a big improvement. You get much more detail in those wide shots, and it's also great for taking close-up macro photos. Now, one thing that Samsung has sometimes struggled with is capturing really sharp photos of moving subjects, especially in lower light, And while I have noticed some improvements here, it's still maybe not quite as good as some other phones out there. You know, if you're trying to take a picture of your pet running around, you might still get a little bit of blur, but overall, the camera system on this phone is incredibly versatile and takes fantastic photos and videos. So after 2 months of using the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra every single day, what's the verdict? Well, it's definitely a top-tier flagship phone. It's got a stunning display, blazing fast performance, a fantastic camera system, and solid battery life. Samsung's commitment to long-term software updates is also a huge plus. But it's not perfect. It's a big phone, which might not be for everyone. There's still a bit of bloatware, and I've noticed a few minor software quirks. Oh, and they removed the Bluetooth functionality from the S Pen, which I know some people are bummed about. And of course, it's a premium phone with a premium price tag. So who is this phone for? Well, if you want the absolute best Android phone with all the bells and whistles, a fantastic camera, and a big, beautiful display, and you're willing to pay for it, then the S25 Ultra is definitely a strong contender. But if you prefer a more compact phone or you're on a tighter budget, there are definitely other great options out there. Alright, that's my long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. What do you guys think? Have you used this phone? Let me know your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tech reviews and content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.